Let's dive into Google Sheets. Basically, it's an online spreadsheet that lets you create and format spreadsheets simultaneously while you work with other people. It's very similar to Excel. It's all housed in Google. So let's get started. I'm going to give you a quick overview in this first little video, and then you'll have a second video that will actually step you through some challenges, some tasks that I want you to complete, and answer a few questions, and then you'll submit that second spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and dive in. Once you're signed into your Google Drive, click on the New button and you can start a new sheet by clicking Google Sheets. Just like any other Google document, you can rename it. So I'm just going to give an example sheet here. And now this document, this Google Sheet has been renamed. And you can tell it's a spreadsheet. It's got rows and 1 through 1,000 and columns A through Z. Of course, you can change and modify those. Across the top, right under the name, next to where you can star it and where you can move this file, where it's located in your drive, is the menu bar. You have the basic menuing options to create new or rename, make a copy, check out the revision history if you want to see a revision history, or you can download this document once you're done with it as a Microsoft Excel file or a PDF file. Another option is just publish this thing to the web. So if you want all this data to be public and anyone to view it, you can do that, and then you can have the option to print. Under the edit, some basic tools like cutting and copying and pasting, undo and redo. I don't know if many of you know, but this paste special is pretty neat. When you copy some data from a certain row or cell, you can paste only the values, or you can paste only the formatting. And so don't take the value, but actually take the formula, the format. This one would let you take the formula. You can also copy conditional formatting if you've turned that on, and we'll look at conditional formatting here in just a minute. You can do some other things, deleting values. In the view option, my favorite here is the freeze. This lets you freeze the top 1 or 2 rows, or from the current row up to the top. And the way freeze works is it holds that row on the screen no matter how far you scroll. And so that's kind of nice. You can also freeze the first column or second column if you wanted to freeze, say, the first column with names. And then turning on or off the grid locks, you can protect the ranges and go into full screen mode. Under insert, some basic things like inserting a comment or inserting a column or row, inserting a new sheet. There's also these same options to insert chart and image are also found on the formatting bar. Some more formatting options. When you're in a cell, you can choose to change what type of cell it is. So if it's a number cell or if it's just regular text, is it a date or a time? And so there's lots of formats here that will let you select what type of cell that data is supposed to be displaying. You can change the basic, font, bold, uppercase, lowercase, change the text size, etc. Play around with the alignment or the text wrapping. And then finally, this conditional formatting is one we're going to look at later as well. Yeah, under the data column, you can sort this data by column A right now, or depending on which cell you selected, this will sort by that column that you've selected. Another option is to highlight all of your data and then choose to sort by that range. The other cool thing with Google is you have this filter option. Basically, the way filter works is the data on the screen. You can show or hide data based on the filtering. And then unique to Google is filter views. This lets you create a filter view and then save that so that your collaborators can look at the data in a different view form without affecting the view that you're looking at. So that's kind of a cool little feature. And then pivot table will help you auto sum and auto average data, lots of data in a separate sheet. And then finally you have some data validation, which basically means when somebody enters the data into a cell, the data validation says it must meet a certain criteria. And we'll check that out later. Then we have the tools. This tools lets you create a form that feeds into this sheet. So by clicking that, here's the form that is now feeding into that sheet. So I can go ahead and just create a couple questions, and when the user submits the form, all of that data then is coming into this sheet, and you notice I have a new sheet down here called form responses, and all that data will populate underneath So that's kind of a neat little thing. The next option, so now we have this form option because I've clicked that button. So again, under data, let's see, under tools, creating form, we've done that. We have the option to do some advanced script gallery. We're going to not really mess with that during this overview. Check your spelling, auto-complete things, and this is really awesome, to be notified. So notify me anytime changes are made and send me an email right away. And now I can get an email when somebody makes a change on this document, and I get notified of that. If there was a form submitted to this sheet, then I can be notified immediately, or just notified once a day of the submission to that form. So that's kind of a really cool thing, really cool feature. And again, that's under Tools, Notification. You can protect sheets so that when you're collaborating, certain people cannot use or cannot change data on that sheet. And then I have the form option now. Because I've created the form, I have the form option now to go view that form and go edit that form if I need to. Then this add-on piece, I have a couple add-ons that I love to use. I love Power Tools. I love AutoCorrect. Add-ons just let you basically enhance a Google Sheet. You can search through here for different add-ons, and you can just click hovering over it and say free and say add, and that will add the functionality of this tool built into the Google Sheet. So that's kind of a nice little additional feature. And then of course you have the help menu. You can look up different function lists and whatnot. Now right below that is the formatting bar, and the formatting bar is kind of a lot of the tools that you find up here are also found down here on the formatting bar, printing and formatting and changing your cell format, changing the type, etc. And so if you hover over it, it tells you what it's going to do. For example, this option will let you wrap the text for that certain cell. So that's kind of an overview of just what Google Sheets can do. Again, basic spreadsheet option with the power of Google. So here's the share button, and you can see it's private, only me. Only I can see this. And just like with our other Google Docs, I can click Get Shareable Link. I can now allow anyone in Belton School District with the link to be able to view this document. So I can change that real quickly. So if I'm trying to share it with mass at Belton School. Another option, I can just go ahead and just type in names of other users at the Belton School, and again give them certain permissions if I want them to be able to edit or view and notify with a little email and send them a note, and so I can send that off to Ivy. So you have the same functions as Microsoft Excel in addition to this great shareability and collaboration piece. I wanted to show you a few examples of how we use Google Sheets in the district. So for example, we can collect some practice ACT tests, and we can build out, based on English or math or reading, and then create composite scores for that. So we've exported the data from, in this example, Mastery Connect, and put it into a spreadsheet. Here's an example using the mandatory training. When you submitted the form saying that you've completed the mandatory training, it was auto-populated into this Google Sheet. It gave us the email address and your name and your building and your role as you filled it out, and then we were able to run this script, the AutoCorrect script, to send you an email and create a document with that certificate. So that was all done automatically using Google Sheets. An example of how we used it to moderate a Twitter chat. We were able to put in some opening statements and then create a link to actually post this very message, to create a link to actually post that onto Twitter. And then we could just quickly hit tweet. So that was kind of a fast way and convenient way to do that. Also to track the character count for that tweet, so we know we're under the 140 limit. This is an example of just collecting a list of apps for Steam and the apps on the iPads, and again using the link option to actually have the link to that app in the webs. And then finally, at the high school, here's a club day example of the advisory teacher and then which club option was selected. And you notice they can only choose from a list, so they're using that data validation. And so kind of a slick way of using and organizing their club day and their assignments. So those are a few things we can do with Google Sheets, and many more.